I was like, this is it. I can't do it. And I was going to quit. Had I made that decision, would I be here in front of you today talking about being ready to start my dream residency program in my dream specialty? I don't know. I don't know. Hi friends. So it's Bernice. I am a graduating 4th year medical student about to start emergency medicine residency very shortly, and I'm here with you all today for a story time. Some of you may have found me from my video from Match Day, one of the happiest days of my life. I matched into my dream residency program, and I'm going to be an emergency medicine doctor. Little would you know from looking at that celebration that literally just 5 years ago, I had hit a wall. I literally had started the process of applying to medical school, and I got so disillusioned that I was withdrawing all of my applications. It's weird to think about that all of this could be different. Like, maybe I'd be sitting in front of you a lawyer, maybe a computer scientist, software engineer, but I'm here and I made it. But I want to walk you through a couple of the things that led to me feeling like, I feel like this isn't going to work out for me. I feel like this isn't my path and all of these things. So first of all, you guys already know pre-med is extraordinarily difficult. And I went to a college that was very academically rigorous. Even passing some of these exams was a feat, to be frank. It was an extraordinarily difficult place to do pre-med. I'm just gonna say that. And even still, I feel like I did my best. I definitely did not have perfect grades. Cried after quizzes and tests that went horrifically, after extreme bouts of self-doubt. I came out proud of my scores, but unfortunately, you yourself being proud of yourself is not how med school works. And so I had to kind of face reality. Pre-meds know this. There are always people who you encounter who are like, you're okay, but you need to be a better version if you want to have a chance. Just these comments that really start to chip away. And then eventually there was a school that I had been really interested in going to for medical school, and I met with their admissions officer and was just wanted to get a sense of, you know, what are you looking for in candidates and what could I do to improve my chances, XYZ. And when I had that meeting, that's when my spirits really started to get crushed, because basically she looked at my whole profile and she was like, okay, I mean, your resume is impressive, but I just feel like, you know, if you want a better shot, it might be a good idea for you to retake this, maybe do this, maybe add this, maybe change this. And I was like, I mean, like, just like think of like a balloon and just like it just like deflating. I mean, like literally coming in, like I'm so proud, like look at, I'm about to graduate college, I've done all this stuff, I've worked so hard, and basically being told by somebody that you know holds the keys, you're okay. God. It even like hurts me to like go back to that space, because I was just so like, I was so dejected. Because of all of these meetings I had, I was like, I guess I should retake the MCAT. So I was graduating college, moving to a new city, trying to find an apartment, starting a new job, trying to get acclimated to this new job. So I was like, let me add retaking the MCAT to my list of things. And the primary application for med school was also due amongst these things. So I don't know if you've kept track of all of the different things that I had added to my list there of things that I needed to do, but it was overwhelming. There was just no way for me to write a very strong personal statement, and study with my whole heart for the MCAT and be this new employee in this new city, trying to do all the things that they were expecting of me, which, by the way, it was a really challenging job emotionally and just in a lot of ways. It was just like so much. Of course, anytime and anybody who has ever tried to juggle too many things at once, you drop a few balls. Some of the balls that dropped were me getting my essays done in a timely manner for med school, and then me really getting my goals for my MCAT. And then I was in this new city. I was like, I just felt alone. I felt like I'm the only person going through all of this at once. Not to mention I had all of these other things, kind of personal things that I was dealing with. And as somebody who, like, I always try to pride myself on feeling like I have it together and that everything's gonna be okay, it was just really painful for me to just be like, I'm not showing up for myself. I'm not showing up for the people who need me. I'm not showing up for my future. I'm not showing up. I just felt, I was getting hit with all of these emotions, all of this sadness. It just like felt like the world was gray. I felt very directionless. I felt very helpless. And I was just like, this isn't working. And so from there, I realized that I was burning out, and I was burning out hard. Things just kind of started spiraling downhill. Because I had done all of that negative speak in my head at that point, I started to really believe it. I believed that I didn't have what it takes to accomplish these things. I believed that I was going to be consistently rejected moving forward. The way I had just sat in and accepted this negativity, it's really hard to explain what that does to you, what that does to your psyche, what that does to your spirit. Externally, I was still showing up and like people wouldn't even really know, but internet, I had really given up on myself. And it reached a point where, I mean, if you've seen my how to get into med school videos, you are definitely supposed to get your primary applications in very close to when they're released. Your secondary applications, when the schools send you the essays to write back to them, you're also supposed to get those in pretty quickly after they're sent to you. And I sat on those. You were supposed to turn those around in a couple days, and I was sitting on those. It was many weeks later, and I had tried to sit in front of my laptop screen and I couldn't do it. Oh, I forgot to mention that I'd been studying for the MCAT this whole time, and then I went and just really basically stopped studying for it because I just didn't have the energy, and then just took it on a whim. Man, I'm like getting emotional because like I just feel like it's like a really dark place to be when you're like, I am blowing it. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and what's the point? And that's definitely where I had gotten. And after a couple of weeks of not doing my secondary essays and just being like, this is a completely pointless process, I called my best friend up. I called him and I was just like, hey, like, I think I'm gonna withdraw my med school house because I don't think there's any point in me trying to keep going. I need to step away from this. I don't think this path is for me. And let me tell you why I called this friend. My bestie, you guys met Shawan in one of my videos. He has known me at now over 11 years. And at that point, like we went to high school together, college together, and then now later after this, we went to grad school together. He had never even wanted me to be a doctor to begin with. He always thought that my talents would be better utilized in another sphere and I shouldn't, go into med school, which is going to take so long. So he always wanted something different for me. So that day, because I knew that he didn't want me to be a doctor, I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to call. I just need to be validated. I was like, this is going to be the person who is happiest that I'm dropping this med school thing. And he's going to be like, go find something else to do. But Shawan noted that in all of these reasons that I had been giving him for why I was done and I was dropping out, I was quitting everything, he talked about being afraid of rejection, being afraid of how hard and how long the application process is going to be and med school is going to be. One thing that you did not say was you don't want to be a doctor. That was just so monumental for me because I had called him for validation. And when he was like, no, I'm not letting you succumb to fear, I was like, I think when I reframed this whole process in my head, instead of being about fear, but about where my heart was, where my purpose was, it allowed me to move past that burnout that I had been suffering for weeks, really to months at this point. And slowly but surely, I was able to get my first secondary essay written. Definitely later than it should have been. But once I got that first one out, then I was able to get the second and the third. There are so many essays to write for med school. But I had to get over that hump. And so after I started getting those essays done, I wasn't hearing back from too many. I started getting rejection letters. Part of that was expected, honestly, because one, nothing is guaranteed in this process. Nobody is guaranteed a spot at all. Secondly, because I had submitted my essays so much later because of that major burnout episode that I had experienced, I know that also probably negatively impacted me. Yet, despite all of that, I was lucky, and later in the process, I started getting invites. And when I went to those interviews, that's when I was really able to jump off the paper and come alive, and people could see that I was serious when I was talking about the communities I wanted to serve and the way that I wanted to live my life intentionally. They could see it. Then I remember my first acceptance, and I was like, this is happening. And I was so grateful. And I ended up at an institution that was perfect for me. The patients that I was able to see, the mentors that I got exposed to, ultimately even getting to do my master's while I was in med school at another institution. I mean, everything was how it was supposed to be. And so I feel like I look back on those days when I was like, I am throwing in the towel. I am quitting. And I'm just like, Bernice, where would you have been right now? Anyone who's watching this who is going through the med school process, I'm sure you've resonated with some of the things that I've said today. Just the discouragement, the self-doubt, the fear. I think it's important to consider a couple of things. Number one, if you are feeling yourself hitting a wall, are you hitting the wall because you're not sure that you actually want this for yourself? You're not sure if this is actually where you feel like you will be the most purposeful in your life. It might be that taking this path to become a physician is not the best path for you. And that is okay. There are so many amazing ways to serve humanity that are not necessarily being a physician. However, if you feel like you're moving away, you're hitting this wall because of fear, because you have felt some of those emotions that I talked about and have felt just so stricken by the uncertainty of it all, the challenging nature of it all, but you do know that your purpose is this very thing, to serve humanity in this particular way, I just encourage you to not let fear drive you. Allow yourself to see the possibilities that can happen when you live boldly in your purpose. I really hope this video has encouraged you. Please make sure to like this video. It definitely helps my channel, helps this video get to the people who need to see it. Leave a comment. I would love to hear more about your journeys. How are the ways that you've been able to avoid fear being the main driver in your own lives? And definitely hit the subscribe button. I will plan to continue to make content about the happy and jubilant side of medicine, like my match day video, for example, but also the devastating, heart-wrenching, but also character building parts of this journey, like what I talked about today. I hope to see you again next time. Bye, everyone.